Gotcha. Oh, you're not gonna get me. What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to do a little bit of a story time for two reasons. I've had people request that I do some story times because that's what I used to do a lot of when I was speaking Esperanto. I would just talk shit about some topic and people seem to eat it up. But the second reason is because YouTube's been kicking me in the balls recently. They've been really pissy at the fact that I've kind of sworn a lot in my recent videos, and they've limited them quite a bit in their reach, let's just say that. And I've also had a few copyright strikes against me, but I've won all of them. I have won them so far. At least two of them are just sitting there waiting to expire, so I don't think that person's going to win it in the end. They're just hoping that I would give up. I do not give up. But anyway, I shared a photo in the post section of my YouTube, and it's this photo right here. So this is a photo of me when I went to Japan as a young nugget. Now basically what happened is when I was in primary school, I started studying Japanese and I continued studying Japanese into high school. Now when I was in primary school, everyone had to study a second language and the only language available was Japanese because everyone thought Japan was going to take over the world type of thing. I don't know why, maybe it was like the mecha robots or the fact that Tokyo, like freaking real estate market was through the roof, but anyway, I had to study Japanese. Then I went to high school, and you no longer had to study Japanese anymore, but they did make you take some classes where you could just try out if you wanted to see if you wanted to continue doing that. And I remember I went to the Japanese class, and when I rocked up, I was like the only boy who wanted to try out the Japanese class, and there was like 20 other girls, and I was a high school boy, hormones raging, so I thought I have found my linguistic reasons to continue studying Japanese, and I did so for 2 years, and it didn't help me at all, but I did continue studying Japanese. Now, after 2 years, the teacher told us that we're all going to go to Japan for an exchange trip, and I was like, hell yeah, man, let's go to Japan. Don't speak this language at all, but this should be fun. And that's where this photo actually comes from, because in this photo, you guys probably don't realize it, I am in an all-Japanese girls' school. Best few days of my life prior to marriage. Okay, so what happened was when we rocked up to Japan, again, it was me, the only boy, and a bunch of girls. And at the time, I don't know if Japan was like segregated or if they actually had mixed schools or the area we were in had like segregated schools. I don't know, but for some reason, they decided not to send my little white bum off to a like all Japanese boys school, probably because I'd get beaten up. And they decided to keep me with the girls group and send me to a girls school. That was, let's just say, a very culturally enlightening experience. I really enjoyed my time. I learned a lot about Japanese culture. And for the first time in my life, I was the center of attention and I fucking loved it. Oh god, now I'm gonna get demonetized again. Anyway, I enjoyed my time quite thoroughly there. But this is not a story about the school. You might think that's pretty crazy, you know? Me being alone in the school by myself, basically living out the anime boy dream. But no, that was not what happened. So the crazy thing that actually happened after this, at a hotel. Now, I need to describe this hotel because it's kind of important to the story. I don't remember much about it, except for the fact that at the front of the hotel was one giant goddamn lion statue. Now, I think it was a lion statue. It might have been a dragon, but I remember it clearly as a lion statue. One day our teacher said, hey, let's go down to the store, all my little children. Come follow me, little ducklings, and we'll go buy some candy. You can try out some Japanese candy. And it was super exciting. We all followed the teacher, and you know, kids, they always follow the teacher, listen to exactly what the teachers say. But I remember we were in the store and we're all looking around, and then the teacher's like, okay, we gotta go, meet me outside at the bus, blah, 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 because we're all like had a little bit of money and we're trying to buy candy. And I was not listening. I was just being a little shit in the back corner, doing whatever little shits do. But I was in there, and I remember turning around and going, oh shit, where's my class at? Oh, okay, well, I guess they've already all gone outside. I better hobble my butt outside. So I went outside, and I looked around, and there was like 5 buses. And I remember looking from one bus to the next going, which is our bus? And for whatever the reason, the teacher hadn't noticed that the one male student in the class was not there, and they had all jumped onto the bus. Now, maybe they were waiting in the bus for me, because I don't know if they rented a bus or if because it's so long ago. But I remember seeing these 5 buses and going, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I guess I'm that bus. Let's just say that maths wasn't my strongest point at this moment in my life because the odds were definitely against me. So I walked up to a bus, I jumped on, I walked around, and I had a look, and I was like, oh no, they're not on here. I turned around and I saw the bus doors closed, and I was like, That's alright, this can't be that bad, because for you guys, you don't know this, I was from a tiny ass little town. There was literally like maybe 2 or 3 buses in town, and if you stayed on the same bus for long enough, it would take you back to where you started, because they just do loops. And I figured, oh no, I'm on the wrong bus. Oh, well, that's okay. I'll either jump off at the next, like, stop when I see the hotel, or I'll just do the loop. I was in Tokyo, guys. You ain't doing the loop in Tokyo, but I did not know this. So I'm sitting here on the bus going, looking as we stop, looking out the window. Nope, don't see the hotel. Okay, maybe the next stop. And I'm doing this, and I don't know how long I'm doing this, but eventually some Japanese businessman gets on, sits down next to me, and I remember he had like his little briefcase in front of him like this, and I was just sitting at the window going, drawing like stuff into the window type of thing. And this businessman, he must have noticed that something was amiss here, because he turned to me and he asked me something, and my Japanese was shite, okay? So I was like, I don't understand. And then I was lucky because this guy knew English, and he said, where are your parents? And I went, oh, my parents, they're in Australia. So you can imagine his confusion at this point going, what? And he said, so who are you with? And I was like, oh, with my teacher. And he's like, where's your teacher? And I looked around like, they ain't here. So this guy was like obviously realizing at this stage something had gone wrong. So he's like, you know what? I'm getting off at the next stop. Come with me, okay? Just follow me. And I was like, oh, okay. I remember something about stranger danger, but this guy seems like a nice person. He's wearing a suit. So I just followed this random Japanese guy off the bus, followed him down the street. I don't remember too much of the details, but eventually, somehow, we ended up at a police station. And I remember I was at the police station, I was like, wow, this is really cool. Never been to a Japanese police station before. And then this poor businessman, when I think about it to this day, I clearly screwed up his whole day, okay? Because no one else there spoke English, so they made him stay to help translate. So could you imagine, like, calling this into work and going, yeah, boss, I found some little white boy on a bus. I can't come in right now. You know, I gotta translate. So we're at the police station, and the policeman was trying to ask me, like, where is your teacher? Like, what hotel? And I was like, oh, I don't know, like, I remember it's got like a statue at the front of it. So the policeman then, he took me into this like little room, which was an interrogation room. And I thought this was the coolest shit in the world. I was like, oh my God, I'm in an interrogation room. This is so much fun. I was sitting at the table, and he comes in with this book like this thick, and he puts it down on the table and he opens it up. And inside the book is literally a photo of every hotel, hostel, whatever you can think of in Japan. It was like this thick. Or not Japan, in Tokyo. It was this thick. And I remember him pointing at the page and asking the guy to basically translate and say, point at your hotel. And I was like, not here. Turns the page. Not here. We kept doing this. It must have been for a while, because after a while I was getting bored. I was like, no. Like, I wanted to do something else. I was so bored at this stage. And then eventually we landed on the page, and I was like, oh, that's mine right there. Like, I noticed that big lion statue. And it's so funny, when you're a kid, you don't register this stuff. But as I think back on it, these guys must have been so relieved at this stage, because they called up the hotel. Like, they literally had the number there on the page. And apparently, my teacher was shitting a brick at this stage, okay? So they put me in the little paddy wagon, the police one. They took me to the hotel, and this was the best day apart from the school experience. And when I rocked up, I remember getting out of the police car and seeing my teacher standing at the front of the hotel. She was pissed. Like, I mean, her face was red, and this is a white girl, like completely red type of thing. And when she came up to me, she was saying something in Japanese to the policeman and stuff, you know, basically like, you know, probably saying, thank you for saving my skin. And then she took me to the side and she said, don't you goddamn say one word about this to your parents. Do you understand? Or you will fail the class. And I was like, okay, I won't say anything. And I never did, I never mentioned this at all. And then that was the best experience. I remember I came inside, I sat down, I ate candy, and I forget the rest of it because obviously it wasn't that impressionable. But yeah, I went home, never told my parents, no one ever questioned me about this, and I think the first time I ever spoke about this story was when I spoke about it in Esperanto. And if I can find the Esperanto video, I'll put it in the description below for those who want to watch it. You can hear the differences between the two different stories if you speak both languages, but it's basically the same story, at least I believe it is. So that was my crazy ass experience in Japan. Now, have you guys ever had any crazy experiences like that when you were a kid? I've actually got a few where I've managed to get myself lost in strange ass situations. Hopefully this means YouTube will ignore me for the next 10 minutes and then I can go back to my old ways of basically shitting on people on the internet. And I'll see you all in the next video. And if you're not there, you better be, because Elmo is pissed.